we will get comfortable seeing expressions like this that are identical except for the sign. This is basically a sum and difference pattern. If we have this binomial times this binomial, we'll multiply them out and the middle terms should cancel. Let's go through the whole FOIL process anyway and see what happens. We take the square root of 7 times the square root of 7, which is just 7. Square root of 7 times negative 3 would be negative 3 radical 7. Positive 3 times the square root of 7 would be positive 3 radical 7. There's the canceling out that we just talked about. Then negative 3 times positive 3 would be negative 9. These two cancel, and we're left with 7 minus 9, which is negative 2. If we look at the sum and difference pattern here, again, we're going to take the first term and square it. That's the 7. We're going to take the second term and square it. That would be the 9, and we would subtract those two. So 7 minus 9 would be negative 2. In this instance, we're just going to look at everything as one large radical. We'll take the coefficients. 5 times 15, so 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 5 is 25. 50 and 25 is 75. Then we have x to the third times x would be x to the fourth. So first step is to multiply, and then we'll simplify what's underneath here. I'm going to simplify the coefficient by looking for perfect square factors. Again, my index here is 2, because this is a square root. So I'm looking for two groups of factors, so I'm looking for perfect squares. So I know that 25 times 3 is 75. And then I really can break this up, the x to the fourth, into x squared times x squared. So the square root of 25 is 5. The square root of 3 is just going to stay the square root of 3. The square root of x squared is just an x. And the square root of x squared is just an x. So these two come out here. So this whole thing is really 5x squared radical 3. If I wanted to check that this was correct, I would take this whole thing and raise it to the power of the index, and I should get this radicand of 75x to the fourth. 5 squared is 25. X squared squared would be x to the fourth. The square root of 3 squared would be 3. So 25 times 3 is 75. X to the fourth, that's the original radicand, so I know that I have done this multiplication properly.